It's because she has a lot of white slaves that will transport her and carry her bags and do whatever. That's a secret. I told her I know your secret, Peppermint. White slaves. All those dancers you see with Peppermint, they're slaves. All the people carrying their stuff, they're slaves. She has the most important thing a drag queen needs: power over other little gay gentlemen, mostly whiteys, to do her bidding. She's some serious bitch. If you're one of her white slaves, don't fuck with her.
She's a crazy bitch.
She probably shits gummy bears.
That shit's fierce.
I love her.
You gays, I love you.
If I had to describe Peppermint in one word, I would say the word would be radiant.
Magnificent.
Positive.
Extremely positive.
Fierce.
Amazing.
Racist.
Hell no.
Just kidding. Good girl, we'll go with that.
I think I look kind of like my mom, so maybe I model myself after my mom. To me, coming out as gay, she was not happy with, and that was when I was a teenager. Then me starting to do drag, it was probably, I guess, a little strange for her. Took her some time getting used to, but then I think that she saw that it was something that I was really into and started doing more and more often, so she started to support it. And now she's one of my biggest fans. You know, I remember one of my first big shows that I did, she came to it trying to outdo me. She had a sequin top on. She brought maracas and was shaking, making noise during the show. So she was really into it. And ever since then, she's been a big supporter, especially now that I have music and videos and different things are kind of growing. She's really into it. If I do get a moment, then I go to the movies. That's my favorite thing to do. Horror movies, if it's a horror movie, if there's blood and screaming, I'm there. I like the craziness where people are dying, not the flowers growing and animals, singing.
Sorry, Peppermint, throw you under the bus, but she's a talker. She's the one in the movies like, girl, don't do it.
If it's a horror movie, I'll scream, and I usually give advice. Like, watch out, girl, he's gonna kill you. Run, bitch. Things like that. Surgery? Hell no, honey, I don't need no surgery. Look at me, honey. I mean, I've considered it. I think everyone has considered. What would it be like if I could totally switch something around? But as far as reassignment surgery, for the most part, these days, the money, everything you have to go through, it's not for me. Since I have a big background in makeup artistry, I really am all about, just put the makeup on to make it look like you're a lady. As long as there's makeup, I won't need any knives, except for defense. 15, 20 years ago, not that I was around performing then, but 15, 20 years ago, the gay community was charged because of AIDS and HIV. So people were, they were more moved to fight for themselves and fight for their own rights and connect with each other regardless of their race or their gender or their color. And 40 years ago, of course, we had the Stonewall movement, where it used to be illegal for two men or two women just to hold hands and dance in public, let alone kiss or anything like that. So the gay community kind of came together then to fight, and that's why we had the Stonewall riots, to fight for their own rights. And these days, luckily, since we have a lot of rights and we've come a long way, we still see that there's far to go, but the people who have the energy, the people who should be the fighters these days, the younger generation of people, like the 20, 21-year-olds, they don't really know what it's like to have to struggle for your own rights. Most 20-year-olds that I know these days, their parents are pretty accepting of them being gay. It's okay, they didn't really have to fight maybe too much in school. So they didn't really have to struggle too much, and they don't really know anything about people like Harvey Milk, or they don't know anything about, the Stonewall riots and many, many other incidences in recent history that got us to where we are today. And if they don't know about those, then we're not going to get on to the future. And that's not different from any other community, except for the fact that, if you are Asian, it's easy for your parents to pass your tradition along to you because you're related and you have family dinners and things like that. Or if you're female, your mother can tell you about women's rights. But if you're gay, a lot of times we don't have our own children. At least, it's difficult to adopt and things like that. So it's really hard for the gay elders, if you would, who were there during the Stonewall riots and who were there for Harvey Milk and who were there for all these different things. they can't really pass it on to the younger generation. So it gets lost, and that's a shame. So those are some examples of some of the things that I try to keep alive and keep going. And if I'm able to do that through an interview or through conversation or for my show, then hopefully I've changed at least one person's mind and made them think about one or two things. And that's what I aim to do. I don't know if I do it, but that's what I try to do.